Hello. Hi. Welcome to the DJ Storybook, the interview process of learning how COVID-19 has affected our lives. Today we have a very special guest from an organization I worked for years with during the Nutcracker, Melissa Bierstock. Did I say that right?
Yeah, you
Bierstock?
did. Yep, you're
Excellent.
stuck.
Hi,
Yep.
hi, Melissa.
Hi, Brian.
You are the artistic director of Catskill Ballet Theater,
Yeah.
and you also are the owner of the Catskill Ballet Theater, correct?
Yeah, it's still called the Anne Hebard School of Ballet. So there's two separate entities, but
Excellent.
yes. Yeah.
So, Melissa, obviously COVID-19 has made us forced us to change the way we approach dance. Talk about what you were doing before COVID-19, and let's go into how you have made that transition for your kids.
Sure. So it's kind of a difficult subject for me because there was a lot of expectation and a whole lot of excitement going on here just before COVID hit. So I became artistic director of Catskill Ballet Theater right after our final Nutcracker in December. So January 1st, basically the company became mine in terms of the directorship. And it had been something I've been working for many, many, many years. And we had fought really hard to put on a production in the spring, which is never easy for us to do because, of course, as you know, everything's dependent on donations and the money that you raise. And Nutcracker, we kind of have a ball rolling here for 35 years, but to put on a second production is really challenging. So I had worked for a couple of years to get an okay that when I became director, I'd have I would work with the board directors to try to get a new production, and we got Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, that's a big deal.
It was a really big deal. And you can
Yes.
see behind me, there's a lobster, a lone
Yes,
lobster on the
I
bar
do
back
see
there.
that.
And there's even
Yes.
all my props are over here. So the
Oh,
ballet hadn't been done in 17 years, I think.
okay.
I had performed it twice as a child at this school. So I had a lot of, like you have fond
Mm,
memories of here, I had a
yes.
lot of history going into this. And we were halfway through rehearsals for a May 14th production. It was my first as artistic director. I had a phenomenal group of people I was working with and had hired dancers. And on top of that, some of my kids that were my first generation of children that I had taught since they were 4 were finally graduating. So this was their final performance. And
Wow,
I
this is
was
difficult.
so invested emotionally in providing this for them as well as myself, like just really emotionally invested in these kids getting to do a new show. So we were just, closed down, a mid-rehearsal kind of thing. And,
Yeah.
props were going, everything everybody else is also experiencing, but it just
Yes.
felt very devastating to me personally. And then of course you're trying to weigh
Of
that,
course.
well, nobody's sick, this is all about people being healthy and don't
Yes.
lose sight of that. But the truth was artistically, it was really tough. So we were working on a recital, and we had however many classes going on a week, and just a nice, busy, excited time
Yes.
here at the ballet studio.
Melissa, we invest so much energy because we love our kids so much. And
Yeah,
they love you back,
yeah,
and to be in the studio, just have just a community feel, especially when you're creating. It's like you're creating this ballet. So here we are. I don't know what the date you had. Mine was March 14th when it just stopped. How have you continued that community feel with the kids and
yeah. It's a great question, because it's really tough, but it means the world to me. Like, just to hear you say that, I know that there's other teachers out there that are feeling the same way. It's about so much more than just the ballet, even though it is so much about the ballet. It's, every story that of every child that's in that room. I was saying to someone the other day, I have a kid who walks here and it's the only thing she's got. And I get given her this part, and I know it meant the world to her. It's the whole story of what you're creating in this room. And I don't want to, I love these children. So we're Zooming it like everybody else is. But it's hard, and I just talked to the parents the other day. I said, please push a little. I know we're trying to be really sensitive to how tired they are and how much, they're zoomed out and they're computered out. But what I said, and I said this to every one of my kids on the class, like that have come on, I said to them, listen, I'm tired too. There's a lot of days that I don't want to come into this empty studio and skip and hop to silence, by myself, and
Yeah.
you can't hear me and the computer's doing this. I said, but every single time I see your faces, every single one of you that get on, I'm so happy to see you. And when I leave here, I feel like $1,000,000 because you're my people, you're my family, and we're in this together, and we really have to stay strong together because it's so easy to just fall into the depressive part of this. And please try to, fight the inertia of letting it just die, because
Yes.
there's a community here, and I meant it for them as much as I meant it for myself, and that's what I've tried to do is, keep them engaged. We're doing a virtual recital.
This is great. Is this open to the
Um,
public? Can I see
well,
it?
we're gonna film it,
Okay.
and then the film will be available. I'm trying to do two ways. I'm trying to do a live so that we can watch it together and they could
hmm
comment and say, hey,
hmm
but also have it then in video form that then they can keep and they can pass along, or I could post, or they can. I said the great news is I keep telling the kids we're making a movie.
Yes.
And you can now send it to your family anywhere in the world. If they couldn't come to our recital, they couldn't have come to the recital, but you have a family in Australia, you
This
can
is,
show them this.
that's true. That's
So
true. The
yeah,
optimism. The optimism.
right. Well, and
Yes.
I
Yes.
actually, to be honest with you, it really helped me because I said to them, I'm excited again. Like I
Yes.
was
Good.
so sad to miss this recital, and I have half the students that I did before, and I've got costumes that they're never going to pick up sitting over here, and my little cat ears are here. So
Yes. Love
I'm
it.
really, but we're going to do so every level. I've choreographed something for every level. I had to re-choreograph a lot of
hmm
it from pre-ballet up to the advanced class. I've sent them the audio. I sent them a video of myself doing it. We're
Mm.
doing some Zoom rehearsals, and then what they're going to do is they're each going to video themselves, and I am going to work with an editor to put it so the music matches what they're doing. And we're going to have
Wow.
a 2 or 3 minute dance for each level,
That's
and
fantastic.
hopefully a little like graduation ceremony of some sort for those girls I was talking about. Something to
Melissa, I
honor
love
them.
that. Yeah, they look forward to that.
Yeah, they got more so they got revitalized because I think all
Yes.
of us were like, oh my God, 3 more
Yeah.
weeks. And I said to them, and now I feel like the kids are like, oh, they have a project. I'm not even, we
Nice.
do some plies and tandos. I'm like, let's get into choreography because I think they're just ready to take out
Yes.
their cat ears and,
Yeah.
and play a little bit. So that's the way I'm trying to keep them engaged. To get back to your original question, is to do this little project, get through that together. Feel like we made something new together. We're still
Good.
creating something, and then they'll help
Well,
that to
it's
watch.
so important to keep those because when you're creating and you're learning things, it's a different muscle memory, than doing
That's
plies
true.
and tendus that they don't do center work.
Right.
There's not a lot of center work going on. It's a lot of
Yes.
bar.
Yeah.
So, it sounds like you have a very highly engaged group of kids and people who want to continue because they just feel very connected to you, which I feel um, it's valuable to have a strong leader and a strong presence. And it sounds like you have that, and they look to that. It's important.
Thank
Um, so here we are coming up to the summer, and you're looking ahead for the Nutcracker, which I know you guys do every year, and the next season. How do you see the classes being mm, formatted? Me,
Yeah, it's really hard. I'm actually was just driving around last night thinking, I think I need to call one of these services that this, state of New York is offering or my county is offering. I'm actually working with someone on how to reopen in a way
mm,
that's safe. Because I'm kind of all by myself. I'm not totally, but it feels that way sometimes. And I do like 90% of this is myself. I teach almost all of the classes and things like that. So, getting advice on what's really possible because I only have so much space. I don't have two studios, just have the one. So I
mm,
really see that I'm going to have to have the classes and therefore teach double the amount to service the same amount of students. And I only have so many hours in the day. And if they go back to school, that becomes really tricky. So, I've thought about things like, just socially distanced. Do I have one person at each
mm.
bar? And do I put tape on
Yes,
the floor so the kids, and maybe I can't teach little ones. Maybe the first 6 months, I only teach the older ones because the little ones will be harder to
of course.
control. I can't really see dancing with masks on. I don't know how you feel about that, but I can't even barely teach with them on. So to me, I think it's really social distance. It's about space. Um, so I'm just trying to kind of think all that through and thinking in terms of, staggered entrances, and they don't use the dressing room. They come in already clothed and they go straight to their spot at the bar. They can go one at a time to the bathroom, things like that, just
Yeah.
logistically to try to make it possible to open the doors in September. I mean, I maybe can do it in August, but I kind of feel like everybody's just needs to go outside and let's just start fresh in
Yes.
the fall. And
The
they'll give me
word
a month to get it together.
the word that I think it's going to be used more, and we could talk about this, later about this, is hybrid. And there are going to be kids who are not going to want to go to the studio,
Yeah,
and then there are ones that will. And having a hybrid approach, just in our minds, I think it goes for schools too. They're going to have to really evaluate that. In my opinion, everybody's going to have to assume it's Zoom, this format. They're going to have to assume this is what it's going to be,
yeah,
create the platform, and then, oh, we can be here twice a week, but the platform has been set.
right.
The structure has been set. And to strategize that way as opposed to thinking we're going to be open and then, oh my gosh, I have to do all this work. Create the foundation, then we build from there. Because it's the new norm, I guess the new normal.
Yeah,
It's not the way I would imagine dance, because there are going to be kids, Melissa, that are not going to want to be there for a while, and
yeah,
that's how we're doing it at Wayne Center of the Arts. That's
yeah.
we're going to do a very hybrid approach. So
It's a good word. Thank you for that.
yeah, it's going to be. I think, Melissa, it's going to be more of a common word than collaborations was a word for a while.
Yeah,
Now hybrid,
yeah,
and that's just what it is. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Melissa, I just to finish this up here, I really like your energy,
Thank
and
you.
I think that your energy with those kids is going to drive those kids to stay and to be with to do it and all that stuff, and so I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. It means the world to me, to be honest with you. It really does. And I thank you for the opportunity because you said to me just before we started that you were giving me a chance to tell my story. And I actually really feel moved by that because we are all going through something, And sometimes I think it's true. It's like I feel like I said to you, like we're a family. It's not just my story. It's my family's story about how one little bit of our COVID story and our in our little community, in our city, in our state. Like it's all
Yes.
over. We're all going through this, and we have to be leaders for these kids because it's unprecedented for all of us, and I feel they're so strong. They just need guidance. They're so resilient. I don't ever want to give up on them. I'll be here for them. I'll be here.
Well, let's finish on that note. I
Yeah.
love that, Melissa. Thank you so very much.
Okay.
I do
Thanks for your
appreciate
time.
it. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Take care, Melissa. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Really
Bye
nice to
bye.
talk to you.
Okay, bye
Good luck.
bye. Melissa.